me and my girlfriend returned to the adventure obstacle course park because we wanted to do the big jump, a 40-foot jump, which they call the WTF jump, as our introduction to bungee jumping and to find something else that is scary. And while we were going on the course and getting ready for this big jump, we saw four kinds of people. People who were scared, people who were having fun because they were scared, people who were not having fun because they were scared, and just people who weren't scared. So while we were on the course and when we got to the big jump, what kind of person were we gonna be? And where do these four types of people come from? Let's talk about it. So being scared, which seems to be the majority of the people on the course. And you've probably heard this before of where fear comes from. It is a biological process that comes from way into our ancestors, where it's a matter of life and death. Fear was supposed to protect us from things that will kill us. And you can kind of see that up here, up in the trees, all the way high up on these amazing obstacle courses, because your brain perceives that if you fall from high up, you will be hurt. So your brain is telling you, hey, that's maybe not good if you fall. And even the obstacle courses that they're on there, most of them are designed to be wobbly, spooky, not easy to get across. Things like wobbly bridges, very thin tight ropes, these balls that spin, things that make you feel like you are going to fall. Now, if you're looking to find something to step outside your comfort zone, or you want to get over the fear of heights, I would definitely try something like this. Our first experience is already on the channel, so I'm not going to go over it, but mostly about the fear that most people are scared of something. So what is the danger? So we talked about height, but is it really the height that people are afraid of? Because if you were afraid of heights, the moment that you got into an elevator and you got to a certain height, you would freak out. If you were in a hotel at the 100th story, you would be scared. But yet it's not until you get close to the balcony or you feel like there's a chance for you to fall is when you get scared. Based on my personal experience, no one is afraid of height. Everyone is afraid of falling. The difference is how sure and confident someone is that they're not going to fall. If you're in an enclosed space at 100 stories up, you don't feel like you're gonna fall. You're at the edge of the balcony, you get a little uneasy. And up here on the trees, you're at a height that if you did completely fall off with no safety whatsoever, you would be in a lot of pain. It makes sense. You're high up, you're a little scared. So we climb up the 40 feet up into the air to get to that giant big jump, the WTF jump, and we're about to jump. But then it gets us thinking, why are there people who are having fun? Isn't it supposed to be scary? How can scary and fun be connected at the same time? These are not adrenaline junkies who are putting their life on the line in order to get some sort of kick. These are kids and everyday people who are trying out these things that steps them outside their comfort zone. But isn't the whole point of being scared in the past was to protect us from this life and death situation? First, it is a controlled environment. You have these harnesses, you have these safety precautions. If you did fall, you would actually be 100% fine. But on the fun aspect, us humans are emotional creatures. Because our day-to-day is a lot more safe than, before we had to hunt mammoth, we have become way more attuned with our other emotions because we're not constantly living in fear. In this case, fear is defeating another emotion that we experience, which is boredom. Because boredom is being defeated, it is now adding other emotions, anticipation of the events, as well as new experiences and other minor emotions. And you can go through this scary experience safely. Us as humans love to grow, become better, overcome obstacles, challenges. This is a very safe way to feel like we are overcoming challenges and we feel like a better person for it. It might be just a simple tightrope, it might simply be a rope swing, but we are overcoming something that makes us feel like we can overcome other things, makes us feel like stronger individuals. That makes perfect sense. Go up 40 feet up in the air, ready for the big jump, look up at the height, and there were people who could not overcome their fear. What happens if you're one of these people that are not having fun because they are scared? Where does that come from? Can that be overcome? We saw some people terrified, but what are they actually scared of? Being in the situation is scarier than seeing it. Very similar to explaining a nightmare to someone versus you being in it. Common thing is the higher that they were, the more that they were scared. The perceived danger of injury or death seemed bigger and bigger the higher and higher they went. There seems to be a common thing, the unknown. Most people are just scared of things that they don't know. If you haven't gone across this thing before, you don't know how it is. They must have a lack of experience in their own skill. They think that the chance of them actually falling is so much higher. They probably also have a lack of experience in falling. They don't know what it actually feels like to fall, and they don't have any experience of this equipment. Yes, it's safe, but they don't know that. They've never fallen before, they haven't tested the equipment, and obviously you're scared to be scared. People don't like the negative emotion of being scared, and we have an idea of how it feels to be scared, so if you know your actions are going to lead to that negative thing, you completely want to avoid that. Once that unknown factor disappeared, even if it's just a little bit of knowledge, such as trying the obstacle, testing out the equipment, moving forward, once that unknown disappeared more and more, the more that fear went away. And you know what? Sometimes it didn't happen. So we climbed up the 40 feet, looking at the big jump, and we're about to go. And how do you not become scared? Because there are very few people that we got to see that were actually not scared at all. First, let's look at the risks versus the reward. The reward is, man, you're gonna look super cool. And we also talked about the euphoria that it feels from conquering fear. And what's the risk? Well, you have equipment, you have safety precautions. So the only risk is you get a little bit of whoa and a little uh-oh moment, and that's about it. So really, the risks are barely there. And the more that you know the unknown, which is not a Frozen song, then the more that the fear goes away. So what experiences did we have before doing this big jump? The system that used was an auto belay, which is something that we've already used before in indoor rock climbing. We've fallen from way higher without equipment. No one's afraid of heights, everyone is afraid of falling. So if there's no risk of falling, so what was the risk? So we climbed up 40 feet up in the air, and the moment we went, we just yeeted ourselves out there instantly, no second thought. It's kind of unfortunate, but an important lesson, because we've both overcome so much fear, and a lot of it has to do with because of the experiences we've decided to put ourselves in that steps us outside our comfort zone. So something like this isn't scary, which means if there's any other things that are scary or fearful, we can overcome those obstacles much easier because we can cope with those situations. But then that also means if we want to do something super scary, we got to pay more money to be even higher up. So bungee jumping, you have now been added to the list to see if we are going to be scared or not. But there's only one way to find out. But what do you guys think? Are you going to go to something like this to overcome fear? Or what is the scariest experience that you've had? Leave a comment down below. Would love to hear it. Or you can always share it up on social media and hit me up there. And while we continue to be high up, I will see you at the next adventure.